maybe.
That's way away.
Yeah, wait.
In a whole
We're
different
online, go ahead.
weather.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Today is April the 15th, 2025. This is the regular meeting scheduled for the Veteran Advisory Board. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for the invocation.
Let us pray. Most gracious and eternal Father, we humbly come before you on this day, first to give you thanks. We thank you for being in our presence, oh God. And as you direct and lead our leaders of this board, Father God, and the personnel that come in from our community who want to serve your veterans, Father, we just thank you. Give us the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding how to treat and to serve your people who you have placed in our hand. We thank you for all things. We ask all these things in your precious Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Let's go to item number 4, public comment. And we're going to skip over to item number, agenda C, receive a presentation on the Gold Star Memorial.
Share my screen, get a few slides.
Hi, guys. Thank you for taking time out of your day to come. Thank you very much.
And thank you on behalf of El Paso Gold Star Families Memorial. Appreciate it. Good afternoon, members of the Veterans Advisory Board and distinguished guests. Slide 1. My name is Dolores Duarte Villa. I'm proud to serve as president of the El Paso Gold Star Families Memorial Organization. On behalf of our board, our volunteers, and Gold Star families, I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today about a project that is both deeply personal and profoundly meaningful, and that is the El Paso Gold Star Families Memorial Initiative. Slide 2. I also stand before you as a Gold Star daughter, the daughter of United States Marine Corps Sergeant Roberto Duarte, who was killed in action on December 11th, 1965 in Quezon, Vietnam. My father never returned home, but his memory and the sacrifice he made for our nation has shaped every step of my life. Like so many Gold Star families, my story is one about deep loss and unwavering love for this country. It is this story that brings me here today. We are respectfully seeking the support of the El Paso County in making this memorial a reality. We understand that the Commissioner's Court has requested your recommendation, and we are honored to share our vision and plans with you today and hope that you will join us in this mission of remembrance. Who we are. Gold Star families are those who have lost a loved one in military service to our nation. We are mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, sons, daughters, grandparents, cousins, all left behind, carrying both grief and pride. Grief is lifelong, and yet all of their stories often go untold, overshadowed by war, politics, or the passage of time. This memorial is about bringing their stories to light. Why this memorial matters. Our mission is clear: to honor the families of the fallen and provide them with a permanent place of recognition, of a space where we can come together and reflect, remember, and heal. Our vision is powerful. It's to create a sacred space that educates the community, bridges generations, and reinforces our shared gratitude for those who made the ultimate sacrifice. Memorial design and symbolism. The El Paso Gold Star Families Memorial will be located adjacent to the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Northeast El Paso. This will be located at Old Glory Memorial at Flags Across America in the Northeast part of El Paso. It will take the form of a circular monument reflecting the never-ending journey of a family forever changed by loss. At the center will stand the Gold Star emblem, which is the heart of the memorial, symbolizing sacrifice and unity. The Gold Star emblem will be surrounded by 5 other etched panels that walk visitors through the emotional and spiritual journey of a Gold Star family. Number 2 will be the enlistment, which is where our loved ones come into defending our freedoms. Panel 3 will be a panel for the deployment. This is a time of anxiety, hope, and constant prayer. The 4th panel will be the notification of next of kin, a moment that forever alters a family's world. Panel number 5 will be the dignified arrival, our loved ones coming home beneath the flag they proudly served. The panel number 6 will be the presentation of the flag, the folded triangle placed into the arms of grieving family members alongside a nation's gratitude. In addition to the panels, the memorial will include 4 battle crosses mounted on individual pedestals. The first one, Margie, if you will start with this for this. The first one is significant for World War I. The one where Margie is holding her hand is for World War II, Korea and Vietnam. Then we have the 3rd one for Iraq and Afghanistan. And the 4th one is intentionally left empty. It is a symbol of our hope for peace and unity with our nations, but it's also our readiness to remember should new generations of heroes emerge. The timeline and the progress. So taking on this role in August of 2024, our team has made significant progress. We've established partnerships with veteran organizations, civic leaders, Gold Star families, and local foundations. Our projected timeline includes the contract that we have will go into effect once we raise the first $100,000. Okay, this is something that we brought up with the county commissioner's support. And this is what we need. We need to raise that $100,000 to begin the foundry pieces with installments every 60 to 90 days thereafter. The fundraising will continue until September 2026. Construction and installment will begin in January of 2026, and this will last approximately 6 to 8 months. Estimated completion date will be September 27th, 2026. It is our hope and prayer that we are able to dedicate this memorial. That is also significant for the Gold Star Mothers and Families Day, last Sunday in September. We're currently working with monument designer Julio Sanchez de Alba and also military historians to ensure that every element of the memorial is respectful, accurate, and impactful. We're happy to announce the following partnerships. We have GEC Foundation, the 19th Rifle Company, USMCR Foundation, American Legion Post 38 Auxiliary Unit, Mrs. Celia Rocha, Dr. John Joseph Vanderpool, the Duarte Valenzuela families, Pronto Body Shop, James Valenzuela State Farm Agent, and also Regency Print. Financial needs and county support. The total project is approximately $625,390, which includes the design, construction, engraving, materials, landscaping, and educational signage. To date, we have raised over $33,482 with private donations, sponsorships, and community support. Total funds needed to date is $591,908. We are here today to formally request financial support of $50,000 from the El Paso County. This not only helps us reach our goal, but to also send a clear message that this community stands with its Gold Star families. Why El Paso County support is crucial. Your recommendation to the Commissioner's Court would carry great weight, and your endorsement would inspire others to give. We believe that this memorial is not only a moral responsibility, but also a meaningful addition to El Paso's culture and historical landscape. Your support will echo far, far beyond today, showing every Gold Star family that the El Paso County sees their sacrifice, values their story, and stands with them in giving gratitude and love. For every knock on the door that changed a life. This isn't just stone and steel. It's a voice for the silent grief carried on by Gold Star families. It is a place to say we remember, we honor, we will never forget. This memorial is a promise that their sacrifice was not in vain, that their stories will not fade in time, and that their loved ones will always have a place to be seen, heard, and embraced by this community. Let us build this together for every family who answered the door and had their world change forever, for every flag folded, and for every day whispered in quiet remembrance. Thank you for your time, your service, and your commitment to honoring all those that gave all. If you have any questions at this time, I'd be more than happy to answer them and provide any additional information. We're also open to any guidance, feedback, ideas you may wish to share at any time, even if it's after this week. Thank you. Any questions?
First, thank you for the brief. Thank you all. Thank you for your sacrifice. A lot of us have been to combat, lost good soldiers, and can't imagine the pain. So thank you for coming out today.
If I may have just a minute to recognize our Gold Star families. We have Margie Lafuma.
Yes, I lost my younger brother November 26, 1967 at Bearcat near Saigon in the Delta. So he was only 22 years old. He had 12 days remaining for his mission to be complete. So I went on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Judy Gonzalez.
Good afternoon. Thank you for allowing us to be here. I think this is a great opportunity that we can share among us, but also as the community. This monument or initiative, I think, will represent those lives that were sacrificed, especially those in El Paso. I think it's very important. I did lose my cousin, Sergeant Roberto Duarte. His legacy is a school down far east, Sergeant Roberto Duarte Elementary School. So I believe this is very dear in my heart. Because I remember I was 12 years old when he was killed. I had to stay home with my grandma because we didn't want to let the grandma know of his death. So I'm honored to be here, and I hope I can share many more stories ahead. Gracias.
Thank you.
I would also like to introduce Yvette Duchesne.
Hi, thank you all for listening and for your time. I lost my son, Senior Airman Danny Ray Sanchez. It'll be 15 years this September 16th. He was killed in Afghanistan in 2010, and he was part of a special forces team for the Air Force called Combat Control Team, and he was attached to an Army Ranger team at the time. Since then, I've been able to start an organization, a foundation in his name, in his honor. It's a Senior Airman Danny Ray Sanchez Foundation. And I give away scholarships at Montwood High School in his honor to help me get through the days, but handing out those scholarships to those students every year through fundraising as well. I'm able to get through a lot of these, in moments and just being able to share his story with you all. But I appreciate you all for listening. Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
And we also have a Vietnam veteran.
Hey, Rodriguez. I lost 5 friends from El Paso, and I can't remember the names of growing up in the barrio, so to speak. You just know my nicknames till some today. The one that does stand out in my mind is one of my high school friends from I attended Burgess High School, and when we were there in class, they made an announcement that I don't know if we met up. It's KIA. So he stands out in my mind a lot because we did a lot of things together being schools. Yeah, appreciated the opportunities. Getting their goal.
I'd like to share one more thing also. This coming Friday, April the 18th in San Diego, California, my son, Gilbert Adam Gonzalez, Chief Petty Officer, will be reenlisted another 4 more years. So I'm proud of my son.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I have one more comment, if I may.
Please.
My brother was with the Army Security Agency, and there's a statue by the headquarters and it's in Maryland that have 13 names of the ASA members that were killed in Vietnam, and his name is one of those 13. He won the Bronze Star. He was just true. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
My father were also honored, very, very honored and proud. He was a native of Paso, and we have a school named after him, the Sergeant Roberto Duarte Elementary School in the Socorro Independent School District. And we carry his legacy and we honor him. School education was number one for him. He was a lifer. He did not have to go to Vietnam, but he had just trained a squad. And years later, I was 34 years old when I realized, when he told my mom it was his duty, I realized that. So thank you for having us here. If there's any other questions that we can answer for you at this time.
Before I turn over to the board, I just want to say again, thank you for coming. I do believe there's a special place in heaven for our military members that go home early. And I thank you for looking for the opportunity to make a special place on earth here in El Paso. So I'd like to turn over to the board, see if they have any questions regarding this.
You know, I'm at the flag site all the time, so I've been supportive from the beginning, and I will still continue to support you.
Thank you so much.
I'd just like to thank you for your continued sacrifice to make to our nation, to our soldiers, and how you endeavor so hard, everything within you, to ensure that their legacy never falls behind. And that is very important. And I can see the heaviness on your hearts as you speak. And even as you speak and as you prepare to leave this place, I pray God's peace on your heart, that He engulfs you and wraps you in His love, and that you feel His peace and comfort when you leave here. But thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I just want to echo our thanks and our condolences, and continue our prayers for all of those that have served, especially those that paid the ultimate sacrifice. From the bottom of our hearts, couple of soul. Thank you, Florrie.
Growing up, one of the things for me as a Gold Star daughter, I didn't know any other Gold Star families. And it was something that really wasn't talked about, you know? And this has always been this dream to have something where we can honor Gold Star families, because their sacrifice is so much. They become single parents, single household. They become the mothers, the fathers, the advocates, the chefs, the drivers, and everything else, so that they can give their loved ones the peace when they're on a mission. There's maybe a trouble at home and stuff, but we never let our loved ones know that, you know. So it takes a village, and in this case, it's going to take our strong El Paso community to come together to do this, because we don't want anyone that has gone through this sacrifice to feel like they're left behind and they're forgotten.
How long have you guys been raising the money?
We started in August 2024.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And so we've got a lot of work to do. We need volunteers. Okay. We're not getting any younger, but we're a small but mighty group right now, and we're hoping that we can just touch the hearts of others, where we can build a volunteer base and get this story out to El Paso and our families across the nation.
We've just completed getting the materials for the Persian Gulf Memorial. So, and that was a 7-year endeavor. So my piece to you would be, don't stop. Yeah, well, that was going to be the bottom line of it, but I was going to say, just keep the faith. What you're doing is being noticed. What you're doing is putting it out there for El Pasoans and for the military families here that also have lost. And now they understand even better what loss is. I had to explain the monument on a T-shirt to like 5 people. What is that? It looks like a square chocolate something. What is that? You know, so I get what you're saying and doing, but don't give up the fight. We just got our stuff in. So trust me when I say 7 years and change, and fundraisers forever, because it's never going to end, because the love and the sacrifice will always be there. So.
And this also, El Paso is supposed to be capital of the veterans.
Capital of the
Veterans-
USA, Veterans Capital of the USA. Yes, ma'am.
So this is just something else to
Oh, yeah.
remind people.
And the location is very fitting. It is
Yeah.
going to be right next to the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. It's like encapsulating the whole story of Flags Across America.
It does. It really does.
So this will be the one that
Next
just
piece.
captures
Mhm.
the whole story, the journey. And so we also want to invite you on May the 3rd. Flags Across America is graciously hosting an open house. We will have a ceremony at 11 o'clock, and we're also going to be having a hamburger fundraiser from 12 to 3. We'd love to invite you to come out and join me.
Okay.
You know, we're not getting any younger, and I can only operate about 3 days at a time.
At a time.
I did see it when you were gonna do it.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
weather
because
got
it was
canceled.
postponed in
The
March
weather was
because of the
bad.
weather.
It was bad.
45 miles an hour.
In
60
dirt.
miles an hour.
And dirt.
60 miles at northeast.
Have a dirt.
Yes, yeah. And we don't want hamburgers with dirt. Okay, special spices, but not dirt. Yes.
No problem.
I'll be flexible.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
All right,
We're
guys.
gonna take a quick 5-minute
Yep.
recess, just so that we can get you guys back to work where you need to be. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
And for informing us, that way we can make an executive.
And I do want to thank the attorney
Absolutely,
for making this
absolutely.
possible.
That's what I'm.
Thank you all
Thank you.
very
Thank you very much.
I hope to see you on the 3rd, and I'll meet each of you personally.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Coach.
Take a
Like
quick
3 minutes.
3-minute recess.
Recess.
Let's go ahead and bring back the meeting. It's 1:27 p.m. Let's go back to item number 8. Discuss and approve the meeting minutes for Veteran Advisory Board meeting on March 11, 2025.
Make a motion to approve. You guys all
Second.
seen that, or?
Yeah, I saw.
Okay.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. I'm going to read item number B and item number I together. Receive updates from the Veterans Capital Marketing Committee. Discuss and take appropriate action regarding Veteran Advisory Board short and long-term goals for 2025.
How you doing?
Hi.
Hi.
This will be very quick. I just have 2 items and then we can discuss your web request that's going to be made. We have a staff member here that will help us out with that. So thank you everyone who received and is going to help out with the VCUSA video. The VCUSA video is a concept that the judge has been wanting to do to talk more about why veterans choose El Paso County as their home and a place to settle after they get out of the military. So we're gonna have a very informal chat. You'll be talking to me. I'll be interviewing you to learn a little bit about you, but then also talk about why you chose El Paso County as your home. And then secondly, I wanted to let you know that we are going to be reconvening the VCUSA Luncheon Committee. That luncheon committee is for a celebration of our veteran employees here at the county that we've been having for the last couple of years. We have it at the convention center. More and more, it's getting more popular. We had a hard time at first, kind of getting veterans off the job and allowing the supervisors allowing them to leave during the day because it is during the week. And it's usually morning to early afternoon, I guess you could say. We bring in speakers. There's a small expo, and it's just something that where we like to recognize our veteran employees. So that committee will reconvene very soon, and then those are the 2 items that I had. And now we can go ahead and talk about your web request. I have with me Oscar Biggers, who is in charge of our website, who has come to help out or answer any questions if needed. So I'm going to take it really quick. I talked to Oscar about a year ago what I thought the resource guide should be, but we had not been able to verify all the resources in the guide. So now that we have that done, I've asked him to come so we can kind of have a discussion about what you want to see. He is our web design team. So if I could share.
The one thing with the resources that we did validate, we don't want to endorse them. So we validated that they do offer services to veterans. They do offer, we don't become a marketing tool for these businesses because they have a veteran sticker, bumper sticker on their window at the end of the day. But, you find me 2 places that don't support veterans in El Paso. They support money. So we want to be an endorsing agency for
I think it would be important to have the language, language somewhere on there, so we can take a look at that.
Yeah. I know some are supported by the VA already. Of course, we support those agencies, but if I'm selling bicycle parts and I'm a former veteran, they may not be the best bicycle parts in the world.
Sure.
So we don't want to support an agency that endorse anyone, I should say.
So if you look, we have subcategories with our resource guide. This is something that was started years ago. It was like a 50-page booklet, right? I think what our vision is to have it subcategorized. So 1 page for emergency hotlines. If you're having an emergency, you're a veteran, then you click on emergency hotline and boom, there's all the resources. Local hotlines, food insecurity, healthcare. So we have all these subcategories, and the thought process is 2 clicks, you get to a list of resources for whatever you're dealing with. I know we've got other resources out there. There's other people who have done this, but on our page, we normally just have the booklet. I would like to activate this. I can also probably share it with you today. I know it's a big project, but that's kind of what my vision
Yeah.
is. What did you guys think?
No, I think it has to be user friendly. You know, grandpa has to pick it up, you know, get on the website and understand, hey, I need assistance with whatever. You know, or I know a lot of us rely on our granddaughters like myself, you know, for the tech piece, but maybe something user friendly. I know I've seen other web pages that kind of make sense. You know, we have a lot of information. Maybe as a board, we need to look at it and say, do we need endorse or not endorse, but, you know, include all these agencies. But we don't want to sell no one short, especially our veterans, you know, they do use it, and it's accessible to their family members also who can get on there.
So this is what you have right now.
Yeah, we have an
This is
Excel
not a
spreadsheet.
PDF. And this is not in a PDF format. It is a spreadsheet with the different tabs organized the way you would like to see it on the
Right,
web.
because we're not looking at a book, we're looking at an e-file where you click, you get that website. And maybe since it's on a county page, if there's a cost associated, we annotate that in some fashion. Like there's a cost associated or this isn't free to veterans, or maybe we put a disclaimer on it. We'll probably talk to county attorneys and get some kind of disclaimer just saying like, just because it's here, it's not necessarily something that we endorse. But we'd like to get that kind of worked on and out. It hasn't been updated in like 7 years, our resource guide. So this was one of our commissioners' primary goals for the VAB was to get this updated, and they, in 1 month, turned around, they verified they've called every single resources, verified that the links work. So this is something that they've been working on, and that's why I asked that the communications team be here, just so we can kind of talk about what we want and get started on it. That way, when the VAB comes back to Commissioners Court, they can say, that one is done. Like that was one of our goals. We went ahead and verified it and it's being worked on. Or the page is live, which you can now link to the Veterans Capital.
Right. And have you put in a ticket by any chance?
I did like a year ago.
Okay.
There was one open and then we used it when we had to find alternate financial assistance. You want me to open a new one? I can go ahead and do that.
Okay, yeah, so this is a larger project than I expected. So we'll have to see like where it fits in all of the tickets that are ahead of you. Oscar, do you wanna?
Yes, let me jump in. So it is a bit larger, but I mean, is there a tentative deadline to start with that? Or that we have some freedom as far as by when,
Yeah.
like something?
8 years ago, so yeah,
Right.
deadline's not an issue. I think it takes some marketing genius, because if you open up a click and it goes to an Excel spreadsheet, people are gonna close it out, they're gonna walk away. Yeah.
No, and now we have also justice also, you have to be ADA compliant. Everything moving forward has to be ADA compliant, so that gives another layer of validation. Is there now one thing that I would ask is, do you give me freedom to just format it the most efficient way I see possible? Or are there examples?
Yes.
Yeah, we want your expertise on purpose.
So yeah, let me, we'll have an internal discussion to see where it fits within our queue of other requests. And then after that, when you send me the document, I'll review it, see if there's anything that stands out or any other questions. And then I can provide you maybe like a tentative timeline.
I was gonna say, and even if you wanted to like do a tentative, this is what it'll look like. We can always bring it back next month at the meeting and say this is what it tentatively will look like. It is a large project, which is why it's something that we attacked first as far as our goals for the year.
Yeah, and definitely what I would do is I would give you some type of tentative deadline to give you a sample, and you all can review it, maybe provide some feedback. But yeah, first of all, I would need to review all the information to make sure how much of it is and where I can make it, fit within our current scope, our platform right now.
What would be helpful is if we could get a solid paragraph to explain the purpose. You probably already have something
Of
this project.
Some type of description for that area.
Okay, and you can drop it in the ticket, section where it has an
I
explanation.
can probably pull it from our goals that we briefed the commission.
Yeah, you probably already have something. So if we could start with that. And then I do think that the next step would be to make sure that that everything's okay in terms of the content with the county attorney's office.
Right.
And what language to use for do or don't endorse.
Right, and that's a big thing.
I was just, some of the items on there are north, south, east, west, central. They may be one organization, but they have 5 entities because they support the different particular areas. So if there's a way that you can condense it, but not leave them out. So that's what you're gonna see, because we had to validate that each one of those were still operative.
And just really quick, the city has a veterans resource page very similar to this that's already ADA compliant. So you can just jump on there and just check it out just to see. Yeah, because I know we ran into those issues. We can't upload flyers because of ADA compliance and the vetting of the resources. And the same thing that you guys brought up, we had to make sure that we're not endorsing anyone. There are people on that resource page that there's some, there's a pay component to it, but it's laid out there already. So.
Yeah, and I just want to, if I may add to that, we do want to make, if we're offering that resources to promote themselves or just be a point of contact, we have to make sure I know that it's available to anybody to be able, because that you will get people asking, how come this is here and I'm not? So that with county attorneys, I would validate that, have some type of disclaimer or verbiage.
Right.
Or you're gonna contact.
Like if you'd like to add your resources.
Yes, or if you'd like to add it, because that has been an issue in the past.
Fair
where
enough, yeah.
somebody needs to test the resources and say, because our website does get quite a bit of traffic. We get about 6 million visitors a year. So we do get quite a bit of people.
Okay.
So that translates to money. So just if you can validate for that verbiage, then I can get you something.
How many businesses are on there?
Oh, Lordy.
It's like 60 pages of business. Some of them local. This was something that my predecessor started, and it was about 60 pages of businesses. Yeah. And to me, if you give me a book of 60 pages full of resources, by page 3, I'm going to stop flipping the page. And I've learned with veterans, like if it's not something easily accessible, they're overwhelmed or they're underwhelmed. Like you have to have the right amount of information. It is a lot. I think I shared it with you before, but now it's been validated and they've gone through everybody, made sure all the phone numbers work, the website link works, et cetera, et cetera. So like there is, and I'll copy you when I send it.
Yeah, for now, just send everything, all the information in an email, and then go ahead and copy Dr. Gallegos, and then I'll guide you through the process. The other thing is, the other question that came up is maintenance, because let's say you go live with it, now you have 100 businesses that want to get on there. Mm-hmm. So is that something, you're looking to have somebody have access to be able to make an update, or are you going to rely?
So in the past with the book, I know that the VAB would bring the resource in and they would rate to us, and then the VAB would make a recommendation as to whether to add them or not. So we would have to establish some type of process to add people who just want, like I serve veterans I want in that book. So we would have to establish some type of process through the VAB for, I see you. Do you have something? No. Okay. If you move forward, like I said something. But yeah, we'd have to establish some type of practice and then make sure that it's not something that if we endorse it, that it's gonna, I never want to send a veteran to a resource and then find out that that resource doesn't serve them well, if they overcharge or something to that effect. So definitely something we'll have to consider going forward.
And that was one of the things that we saw in vetting some of these, that people were listed El Paso, but they were like in Timbuktu, but they could get you on the phone.
Right.
No, we're not using you, dude. Sorry. Next year.
Local.
Yeah, local.
As far as businesses, there's only about 100.
Okay.
So it's not, even though
It's not
a lot of
exactly
people, yeah, it's not real big. Not like you said, it's a living, breathing document. It's gonna, I think we're well behind the curve when it comes to marketing a webpage right now. Everyone's ahead of us. It'll take about a couple of years for us to even reach that, but even good marketing, I know with the USA Capital, with the Veterans Capital USA.
Yeah, and once we go live, we can also help with promoting it on our homepage through a banner.
Okay.
That will also give you quite a bit of views. But the idea is to have something solid out there first.
Great.
And of course, covering ourselves with any legal repercussions.
Okay.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Well, one thought is that Oscar could take the information and then maybe come back in the follow-up presentation with some technological options like vendors like uploading their information automatically to be vetted by the board.
So like it would be a standing item and we'd see like these vendors are requesting access.
You could approach it that way, you could do it quarterly, but maybe come back and do a presentation
with like maybe a mock-up of what it would look like, how it would work.
Yeah, and I'll provide some options, or I'll give you all. It's not gonna just be, we're live, but we'll make sure everything works the way we, the board decides.
So I know before we were doing it bi-year, we were actually doing updates. So I mean, when it comes to that, if we need more time, we can do it once a year only, do the actual updating of the website. So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we could schedule quarterly, we could schedule however you all decide is best. Definitely. And the goal is to get somebody to their resource within 2 takes at most. And people don't scroll, anybody, veterans, everybody, they don't scroll more than a page or two. So
Yeah.
you also don't want like a huge list.
Agreed.
True.
Agreed.
No, yeah, and that's the point, is to get 2 clicks and you get where you're going, because if you have to search any more than that, I'll X out and run Google or run something. I'll run something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, Siri, the city.
Hey, yeah, Siri, Echo,
A drop down menu too, where it's just like you're looking for
the drop down box,
service,
yeah.
and then you get the 5 choices.
Yes, ours is broken down very similar to yours. There's mental health resources, there's financial assistance, there's emergency, there's a button where you can just click and it'll take you to
On
like
that category.
suicide hotline and things like that. It was a big challenge. And then I think I sort of want to answer your question. I think you were asking, is there going to be a dedicated person? So us at the city, we do have a dedicated person. So there's a guy that we can hit up from IT, and within like 48 hours, things are changed. So I think that's what
Right,
you're
so
kind of asking.
we'll establish a procedure.
Okay.
The only thing we ask is ours is better than the city's.
And actually, I would even recommend that maybe we sit down and we
Merge,
efforts,
yeah.
because it's not
I
about
think it
being
should look,
better,
I think it
but
should look very similar. It doesn't have to look the
Exactly.
same, but the resources need to be.
Varsity, junior varsity.
There's the competition already.
No, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. And in regards to your video thing today, do you have read ahead questions or what you're looking for? Because why we stay in El Paso, 83% of the people that retire from the military stay in the town they're in. So that's a given. 83% of people in this room, they're veterans, we're at Fort Bliss. So is there?
Except me.
But do you ever?
I don't have a list.
It was
I
camp
don't,
Bliss back then.
I don't have a list of questions, and it'll be very short. It's not gonna be in depth. or
Okay.
anything, So,
No problem. No, but we're here to support. Don't get me wrong. I just want to make
Okay.
sure.
okay.
All right.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank both of you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
we'll come back to to
Yes.
discuss if we have further things on the priorities.
So let's go back to item number D. Receive updates from the El Paso County Veteran Service Organization's Director of El Paso VA Clinic and any other in attendance and information and or events of interest to El Paso County veterans.
Good afternoon. Nice name.
Hello.
What's got you
It's
guys?
sticking.
I was at another meeting.
Elon Musk Doge and put the paperwork and stuck it on.
No, I was in another meeting with the city and the county. They were working on transportation.
Is that what you got coming right there?
Transportation challenges. So they were doing a study about some of the challenges that are going to come up because of all the expansions throughout the city. About they wanted the veteran participation because they wanted to make sure that they wanted to see the demographics in the areas that are more populated, so they can accommodate some metro and some of the other areas that are working on. So that's why I'm wearing the sticker. I forgot to take it off.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Sorry. So but let me start. Well, thank you and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amin, and I'm the chief for Center for Development Civic Engagement of Paso VA. And just, I know we have a lot of questions about administration. I gotta keep saying this because there are a lot of questions about moving forward with veteran care. And then you guys know, if there are any changes, we will make sure that we remain committed to the mission and that no changes affect the quality of care that we give our veterans. That's the number one, in El Paso VA. So with any changes and, with any administration, there are changes. So, any changes that are happening right now are internal. They're not affecting any veteran care. They're not affecting anything related to the quality of care that we're providing to the veterans. So if any of those change, you guys have our numbers, you have our meetings. We will share those to our social media sites and our VSO meetings and community partner meetings that we have with the community. The director will still continue to have the town halls and educating the population of veterans about changing things that are changing in the VA. So if you guys have any questions, you guys know how to reach out to us. VHA Connect. So we want to remind everyone, that all veterans, that you can call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to the El Paso VA to provide your care. We have a hotline 1-800-672-3782. If you want to check that out, man, and let me know if it works. 1-800-672-3782. Press 3, right? Then it'll connect you to a nurse hotline.
It does work.
It does work. You tried it? Okay. So there you can utilize those services too. You need medication on the weekend. You get sting by a bee or whatever. Instead of going to urgent care or whatever, they'll direct you to where you need to go and what you need to do. Instead of, going to emergency room or things like that. Additionally, veterans can select a different option for different services. So if it's something, depending on whatever it is, they'll direct you to whatever you need to ask for. And with that, we conducted our first Whole Health Summit. Anybody get to go to that Whole Health Summit? Okay, so the Whole Health Summit was our first time in our, Whole Health is a new concept of providing different approaches to medicine. And those things, we want to keep promoting it so folks can continue to join the team. We have some new MOAs coming in with MWR now that we're going to be able to teach Tai Chi and yoga at the Logan Gym on Dyer Street. That way folks can participate on those. We're looking at this whole health approach as not only beneficial for, fitness and mobility, but also what you're eating, educating the veterans on some of the threatening things that are out there. So whole health supports the well-being of veterans and employees. Whole health is a transformative, patient-oriented approach to medicine. If you guys ever need anything for whole health, you can contact 915-564-6100, extension 6836, or extension 6897.
6836?
6836.
Thank you.
Or 6897. We recommend you guys to take an advantage of this whole health initiative that's going on right now with Dr. Ramsahai and her team, Paloma Salcedo. They're going above and beyond. Like I said, they conducted their first annual Whole Health Summit. It was a huge success. We had over 150 veterans that went to the event, got information, were able to, participate in some of the activities they were having on that day. I don't know how many went, but I heard it was pretty cool. They conducted Tai Chi, painting, acupuncture, and some of these other ones that were offered on that day. Any questions about that?
I did try the acupuncture last week. It's 8 to 9 walk-in. They've got 2 massage chairs, and you go in, you've got 2 medical people that attack you right away. I don't say attack you, but they clean your ears around your lobe, and then they administer the needles. If you don't like needles being stuck, they have the pellet that just goes in. It's like a little tablet. And it also, I was at about an 8 for my pain, and in less than 2 hours, I was down to a 2. So it does work. I'm also doing the yoga. I've been doing that for 3 years, but they've added that for the veterans to start. And Tai Chi is overbooked. They have no space. They're trying to get a bigger room.
So that's what we partner up with the MWR. We're about to sign an MOU with the MWR for Bliss. They're going to allow us to use Logan Gym. So we already put the clinic hours and the grid lines that we need to put for our doctors to be able to go and facilitate those things. So it should be starting here in May sometime. We're just waiting on the MOU to sign that MOU to make sure we do it.
I have a question, because I haven't been to urgent care or emergency room in a minute. But am I understanding now that if the veteran goes, they are to also report that back to the VA so that they can not be charged for that visit?
Absolutely.
I need clarification.
You got 3 days.
Okay, see, I need that. So I need to put that out.
That when you go to the emergency room, bring it back. They'll honor it. Just got to bring it back. You can't just go to the urgent care or emergency room and not say something. You got to bring it back, because then they're going to send you a bill.
There's a website, right?
Yes.
When I went to the emergency room years ago, I went to the website, reported I was there, and I actually got admitted. But because I had reported it, I still haven't seen a bill. So either they're really late with it or it's just not coming.
Well, I've never done it. And before the next day or within 2 days, the VA was calling me and said, oh, we got a notice that you were in the ER, that you were at urgent care. Is there anything we need to follow up on? So that was how I was used to it. But then I overheard, and so I just wanted to validate that.
They will contact you, and if it's reported to them, they will contact you and let you know. They also will follow up to see if there's any additional care that's needed or any additional costs that's needed. So they're going to forward that information to a primary care doctor, your team, that way they can address those issues.
And also make sure, I don't know how the information is getting out, but I had asked my primary care, how do I get to Tai Chi? And then I get a call from Move. I'm like, no, I didn't ask for Move. I asked for Tai Chi.
All you have to do is go to the whole health clinic that's on the second floor.
Mm-hmm.
When you go towards the women's health,
Mm-hmm.
and when they do the MRIs, and you go to any of the counters there, and they'll sign you up.
Oh, that's where, okay, that's where you get signed up.
Yes,
Okay, thank
second
you.
floor. And then additionally, so, we're expanding some of our clinics across town. So Las Cruces Avenida, CBOC, and Las Cruces that's scheduled to be open this summer. All the other projects were moved to 26 and 27, and those include the East Side Urgent Care. We're gonna have an urgent care right on Traywood, where our East Side Clinic is. So we're gonna, 26, we're gonna establish that one. And then we're gonna do the Women's Health Clinic also in 2026. So that Women's Health Clinic is scheduled now to be open in 2026. Also, the dental clinic was moved to fourth quarter 2026, first quarter 2027.
Where's it moving to?
So, moved for the opening. Not moved to the same location it was supposed to be, but the opening date has been moved to those dates. For the dental clinic and also for the urgent care and the women's health clinic. So some of the events coming up for the El Paso VA. So we have this coming up week, we have our volunteer recognition week. So you guys know we have almost 160, 170 volunteers at the El Paso VA, right? We have a lot. You're one of our volunteers.
I try to help.
So we want to kind of recommend you guys attend the activities we got planned for the volunteers. We're going to be handing out, kinds of thank you items for those volunteers that participate in some of our activities, like our food drives and some of our, events that we have throughout the week. And then, some of our volunteers are augmenting the force right now. They're pretty much augmenting a lot of the departments that they're working 8 hours a week, sometimes more than 24 hours a week. In some of those departments, augmenting the force, especially transportation, my healthy vet. They also have some in whole health working there, supply chain, and some of the other prosthetics. They work in helping out. And some of the ones that you come in the building, so those are some of the volunteers that actually, welcome you to the VA. They usually give you books for free. They give you coffee. Today we had the auxiliary out there. They were providing all kinds of, snacks and stuff for the team. Our DAV team provides vehicles and vans for free, so we can go pick up veterans in some of our districts and some of our counties that are rural areas. So, we have 8 drivers, 7 vans. Those folks are working all time, all day long. Our patient experience month is going to be April 28th, and that's to just to thank you, the veterans, for being part of the VA team, and also to let them know about our surveys and things that we need help with. Right now, only about 10% of the population, when we send those surveys out, they reply back. So their feedback is much needed. That way, if we lacking in something, we need to change some of our processes and procedures. If they let us know what's going on, then we can adjust. That will help us out a lot. If we get the more feedback we get, the better the service the VA is going to be. Yes, ma'am.
You know how you have to go sign out once you finish your visit? My recommendation would be that you have a form for your survey before they sign out. And you got the veteran right there doing it. Because if you go home, I'm not looking for no more trees killed in the mail.
Unfortunately, those surveys are randomized and they come from VHA.
No, I know, but I'm just saying it would help. I think that you capture more.
The other thing about the survey, sometimes that veterans feel that it's lengthy and long. And sometimes that's why they don't take part in it. But I would recommend you to do it. I'll do it.
No, I do them every time.
A lot of questions, but there are pointed questions that we need your feedback on.
To get into improvement.
Absolutely. That's how we get our feedback for people.
Are they paper or is it digital?
Digital. Let's send it to you digital. And it's randomized, but not every veteran is going to receive one, obviously. But they might send you one every once in a while.
I've got them in the mail. And
we also have in May, we're going to have our women's baby shower at the Armed Forces YMCA. So if you guys know any veterans that are expecting or they have babies in the last fiscal year, let us know. You can contact the Women's Health Program or just come to CDC and we'll point you in the right direction. We also have it on Nurse Recognition Week, May 6th through the 12th. We're recognizing all our nurses throughout the week with different activities, thanking them for the hard work they put in at the VA. We also have our last roll call. Chaplain is conducting the last roll call at the Fort Bliss National Cemetery on Monday, May 12th from 11 to 12 p.m. As you guys know, if you've been to one of those activities, one of those remembrances is very impactful to the families. They lost loved ones and things like that. So we try to do the best we can. We'll partner up with some of our local ROTC programs for sending the colors and some of these other things. Yes, sir.
So what was the time?
So 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. We'll have canopies out there. We'll have water. We'll have, chairs and everything. So don't think you're just going to show up to the cemetery.
What
Make
day?
sure that we
May 12th.
So May 12th, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. for Bliss National Cemetery.
Now, are these on a website or do you have an email? You could,
Yes, sir. Yeah, we run a website, but
oh, yeah, you got what?
I can forward to you.
Some week,
I'll send it to.
And then I'll share it with
Okay,
you.
I'll send all the.
Kind of the typical, they're
Yeah.
trying to write everything down.
yeah, there's a lot of good information. We don't want to miss out.
Yes, sir. And then we're doing on May 15th, we're doing a VA2K homeless stand down. So what we do is the homeless team puts a activity together so we can recoup funds for homeless. We do a stand down in September every year. We've been doing it at the National Guard Armory down on Montana, and we do a stand down every year. So what we do is we recoup donations, items for homeless folks to pass it out throughout the shelters and things like that. We do it every year.
2K?
We call it the VA 2K.
I make those guys walk through Congress and get something.
All it is we walk and we make sure, participating in the health and fitness. You can walk or you can just participate in the activities. A lot of the folks just go participate in the activities.
Oh, that's all.
Or they can walk the 2K. Sometimes some folks do a lap or two within this time.
Talking about volunteers or homeless?
No. So we are wanting folks to come participate in the VA2K so they can donate items.
Fair enough. Okay, now I got you. Wasn't clicking. I was like,
Yeah, sorry.
I'm going to be drunk.
And then the last one is we're doing I know, guys, in July, we do a summer vet fest, and this is to help the kids of veterans that are going back to school. So you guys know supplies are getting expensive.
Oh, yeah.
So we make sure we get backpacks, we get all kinds of supplies for the kids, the families. We invite them out to the VA on a weekend. We'll have music, we'll have all kinds of stuff, just so we can get back to the community. So
Do you have a date on that yet?
yes, so it's gonna be July 26th. It's a Saturday, and say thank you, Connie. And that's gonna be 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Connie, listen, 'cause we're not doing it. They have the date.
Where's that at? I'm sorry.
So that's gonna be at the VA. We do it at the parking
In the
lot.
back, in the back.
In the back parking lot, we
When you
make
come
sure
into the
that
back
The
gate.
Summer
July.
Vet Fest is probably the largest gathering of veterans that I've seen, especially packed at Claims Clinic. I think we had over 1,200 veterans last year come through. So there's vendors outside, and then on the inside, we're doing claims. So just FYI, it's a great place to be. We're typically, our office is all hands on deck for that.
And finally, I just want to thank, all the veterans for their support, all the donations we get from veterans and family members help us continue to provide those services like EAV, women's health, homeless program, providing meals and tokens to homeless veterans, clothing items, hygiene items, some of our baby showers that we promote, our patient experiences that we do, the gatherings and the hosting, those observances you see out there. But we do Martin Luther King Day, or we do African American month, or whatever. We do those. It's only through the donations that we get from veterans and family members that we can do those things. So thank you to you all folks for participating and being part of it. And we hope to continue getting your support at El Paso VA. So thank you. That's all I have.
Do we have a hospice set up for veterans?
We do not.
Why?
It's a good question.
Gentile partners.
I don't care about the money. I want to know that veterans
Well,
got
we do.
somebody at the last stages of life.
Well, we do have a program.
That's why.
I know.
We do have a program, man. We do have a program that provides hospice care and Ms. Escobar
Is it in or out?
no, that's in.
No, I mean in-house or is it, okay,
Well, in-house, but they have contracts that they provide, they outsource when they can't provide the service. So yes, they do that.
okay, you know I'm not asking for me, you know I'm asking for the community.
No, Escobar. So
I said, I'm asking
yeah.
for the community,
Yes,
yeah.
so it's on the first floor, man. When you go to the
Okay.
VA, you go to the first floor to the basement.
Mm-hmm,
You take a right out of the elevator,
mm-hmm,
and then the office will be on the left-hand side.
okay,
So,
and Sid Escobar,
and if you have any questions about it, I can get you the information. Whatever
Okay.
you need, I'll get it.
okay. That's been asked a couple of times when I've been out at some of these events, what are you guys doing for the people like in stages of life that, do y'all help with hospice? Do you have hospice to come? Do they go?
I think a lot of things is like I misunderstood your question. I first asked it. I think it's a lot of folks don't know that we have those services.
And that's, yeah, and that's
That's what it
part, yeah,
They don't know we have those services.
okay.
Thanks for the.
We will get the info
When's
out.
the new,
The new building?
you
So,
anticipate?
2029, they say first quarter 2029, we'll have it all. They're about to finalize the plan tomorrow. They're about to finalize the final stages of the plan. So that will be, and then you guys will start seeing where the building goes further. So
I bet you won't be
Starting-
like that last with like Bliss that took forever and it just sat there with just.
I think they going through the lessons learned. So
I know.
hopefully they get it right this time.
For real.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go to item number E. Receive an update from the City of El Paso Chief Military Officer regarding veteran issues. John?
I'm Luther Jones here, with the program coordinator with the city. Thank you guys for having me here and providing this update. Just make it really quick. I don't think that we got a chance to meet since the last time we had our Veterans and Military Families Expo. It was a 2-day event at the Starlight. It was a good success. We probably had between 400 to 600. Some people didn't register and just walked through the door. So then we had people register online. But we had panel sessions, resource booths, and direct access to consultations. We had 16 tables that were actually VA representatives and not just a person at the VA. We had like the leadership of the VA. So if someone wanted the question answered, it wasn't going to be like, hey, take my card and I'll get it to my manager. The manager, the supervisor, the actual director was there. They spoke at some of the panels. Some of you participated in some of the panels. We covered medical care, VA benefits, just basic camaraderie in the veteran space, home buying, military spouse resources, and more. And the reason I wanted to caveat that is because just recently we came back from Washington, D.C., the American Defense Community's National Summit. And I just want to let you guys know, El Paso for sure is 100% the veterans capital of USA. I know we say that, and then a lot of people in this room and outside of this room, there's some pushback, like, what are we doing? So just let me let you know, based on the conversations and the data shared, we don't appear, we are. You can research this yourself. We're the only city in the nation that has a bridge fellowship program that includes transitioning service members, military spouses, veterans, and dependents. We just put a dependent last week, a veteran dependent, not a military dependent, a veteran dependent. So this is someone that potentially could have been out of the military for 15, 20, 30 years. We'll still take that veteran dependent or that veteran spouse and put them in, if they're minimally qualified, we'll put them in any department in the city. So we had someone at the zoo, but I mean, that's anywhere. It's capital improvement, bridges, roads, fire department. I think she was at the police department. She's one of our bridge fellows as well. So excellent program. Also that we're the only city in the state of Texas that's an American defense community. So all the San Antonios, Austin, Houston, Dallas, with a lot more veterans, a lot more resources combined. El Paso is the only one that's got that distinction, and it's a award distinction based what we're doing. I didn't run into any other city that had an actual city department that was veteran and military affairs, not one. They all collaborated with the VA. They had a spouse group that collaborated with the VA, or they sent emails and talked back and forth. We picked up a ton of resources, and I learned some information that maybe I didn't know this, but maybe you guys didn't notice as well. With our active duty military, 35% of their spouses are not from the United States of America. They're not nationals. So that's a huge percentage, because we all know the challenges that come with military spouses and dependent. You're going to jump from place to place, new city. El Paso is much different than Fort Drum, New York. So there's going to be cultural shifts. Now, just imagine the huge cultural shift if you're coming from, say, Ghana, or you're coming from Guatemala. This could be huge. So there's a foreign military spouse guidebook that I have access to. It is extensive. It's about 40 pages, and none of the pages are fluff. Like, it is actual information that can be used. You can reach out to me. I can get it to you via PDF. But some of the things that we discussed there that we took part in were defining home front readiness. And what that is reframing military support as a national security imperative. So what this means is that the whole point of this summit was to bring together communities that have military bases or military connected, and how that at the national level and the local level, how we can combine to make those communities better for the service member, but the goal is national security. The main topic was the great power competition, and that's us versus China. Some of the information there was very alarming. They have the ability to make ships about 200 times faster than us. There's a lot, you guys know some of this other stuff, but it only takes, so what it takes is the actual communities and the federal government have to combine. If they don't talk to each other, none of this will happen. So like for the city of El Paso, what we've done on our own, the VA or the federal government hasn't come down and said, we recommend this. So you have to do it on your own. So these communities have to take care of this. And one of the big issues that we're running into is power. So 98% of the military, their power is civilian power. So if the civilian infrastructure for power grid goes down, if it's attacked, if it's hacked, if there's a cyber attack or a physical attack, that connects to the base. So for example, if a Marine unit or the 82nd Airborne or one of these units that is highly deployable, they're dependent on power from the city. So if that city's power is attacked, if there's not a connection piece between the federal agency and the local, then now these units that need to be deployed to anywhere in the world within hours, they're not able to do that. So that's the national readiness part. There was a partnership roadmap that we took part of, but that's just a partnership roadmap. I talked about the military spouse playbook, and then unleashing the grid, and that's the strategic plan for energy resilience in these defense communities. Like I said, we super stood out. We were asked questions probably in every single panel about, it would be, hey, our initiative is this, El Paso, how do you do it? The initiative, we'd like to take part of this, like the intergovernmental agency agreements. There's so much money left on the table. I think this year alone, there's like $45 million just left on the table that no one's just wrote the grant that you can get the federal government. Now, I know there's a whole stigma on grants right now. These are not the grants that are going to get kicked back. These are not the grants for, hey, we want to grow some trees or something like that. These are things that, and we got the people from there was a, I don't know what his rank is, a high member of the Doge team was there, and he told us, he did the stomp on the ground, gave us the verbiage. If you want a grant to pass, you just need to make it that the grant is focused on readiness, resiliency, tie in whatever you're trying to do to those type of warfighting readiness, and the grants will get approved. That's where it's at. There isn't going to be a deduction in grant money, but it's going to be more focused. It's going to be focused on those areas. So the people that write these grants, you're able to take advantage of that. So some key programs and ongoing initiatives. We just had a meeting last week with Canines for Veterans. It's an organization out of Jacksonville, Florida, that they provide free service dogs and the training that comes along with it for veterans. And they're planning on having their second physical location here in El Paso, teamed up with the Armed Forces YMCA. The city of El Paso is going to support that as well. It's a great program. So what they do is they train the service dog first. The veteran they apply to them. You just have to have a write-up from your VA service, your provider, and they'll provide you with a $30,000 to $40,000 trained service dog for free. And they provide you with, so it's a 3 to 4 week training session where you have to live with the dog, and they want to make sure that things are going right. So they're not going to just drop the dog and send you to your house. So the Armed Forces YMCA is allowing them to stay there for that time to do the different types of training. We've partnered with Bassett Center. That's where they're going to do the mall training. They're going to go to a couple of other locations that they already, like Walmart, that they already have like a nationwide partnership for. But we just wanted to connect this organization. They'll have 20 in their first cohort, and that's going to be in probably 3 months. We're waiting on them to tell us the exact date, but they're ready to go. And I don't know if you guys know this, but there isn't a national service dog training center. There isn't a national formal certification. This organization is working on something that's nationally, so someone can pull out a card or have some placard that they can put on their dog, and they can educate the services nationally and locally. So someone can say, hey, this is it. This is the real deal, because there just isn't that right now. Our Bridge Fellowship program, I mentioned that earlier. We're having a lot of growth there. There's a lot of public engagement. We probably have about 5 Bridge Fellows in the pipeline right now. Coffee with Veterans. You guys are free to go. It's the first 2 Thursdays of the month. We've had our 4th one. It's growing and growing. We want to focus on veteran organizations, and this is just the city's initiative to bring our services to the veterans. So there's only myself and Mr. Albright, so we're very limited what we can do. And so taking on those individual questions, and every time I attend one of these, there's new veteran spouse, military dependent that is in there, and they're like, we haven't heard of this. I didn't know about this. James Green brought something up that's very interesting, and we need to put the word out that I'm sure no one in this room knows this, maybe a couple of us, that if you're a certain disability percentage, when you get your trash taken out, they'll take your trash cans out. Instead of you bringing them to the curb, they'll do it for you. So I didn't know that. Yeah. And there's also a 20% discount on your garbage disposal fees. Bill. So that's something that we didn't know, and we put that information out. And the next one's going to be at DAV Chapter 187 in the Northeast, James location there. And then there's going to be a full flyer and all that information to come. What day is that going to be on? It'll be May 1st at 10 a.m. You better have You better have tea. And the next thing that we're, so this week we're having our community salutes, and that's just it's going to be at the Abraham Chavez Theater. It'll be at 5:30, so come around 5 if you'd like to come. We want everybody to come out there and support. It's this event, we just honor our high school graduating seniors who are enlisting into the military. Right now we have around 140 that are participating, about 300 people with the families and things like that. It's going to be a great presentation. It's just a welcome off, and this is another thing that when we brought that up, no other community is doing this in the state of Texas. Other communities around the nation are. It's a nationwide thing, but it's a good way. It's a recruiting tool, because I look at it from a 360 kind of perspective that us as the veterans, we're the billboard. So we can have a bunch of, you can pump a lot of bonuses into things. You can have some flashy commercials that agree to someone. But in my personal opinion, if the veteran on the end isn't doing well, you're not going to get kids to join. If their uncle, dad, mom, brother, sister are going through all the struggles that they're going through, they don't look well, they're homeless, they're going through it, no one's going to want to join the military. So this hurts recruitment, and that hurts national security. So I feel like focusing in on when they're entering the military and then when they're exiting the military on the way out, that's probably the best way. And yeah, so our community salutes, like I said, is going to be April 16th. So come out there, support, hoop and holler. And then after that, I need you guys' support as well. Next week, we're having our Rio Grande honor flight. The departure is the 24th. I'll be there at 3 a.m. I'm pretty sure a lot of people won't, but I'll be there at 3 a.m. But what we really would like people to come is to the return. The return for the departure. Yeah.
Hey, I'll be right there with you.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we're on the team together. Yeah, so.
My disability.
So, but what's an easier timeline to make is the return. Return home is going to be. We want people there 5:30, but show up at 5 because you never know how this thing works. And that's when they're going to come back. We're going to have the police escorts, cheerleaders, high school bands. We're going to have the 1st Armored Division band out there. And we're just going to give these World War II, Korean War veterans, and Vietnam veterans the return that they deserve. It's excellent. I attended last year with a different organization, and then I'll be attending this year with the city. So it's going to be a good deal.
I was a recipient, and I'm going to tell you, I was in tears. It was that emotional. I got double bouquets of flowers. I had young ladies that were in military uniform wanting my autograph. They were crying. They'd never heard of a woman's Army Corps. They were giving me patches. There's no other experience I can explain to you that coming back, having the cheerleading, the bands, the applause, just the airport lined with citizens saying, welcome back. And seeing the older guys that never got welcomed home in tears again. There's no words.
When is the return date?
27th.
The 26th.
No, I'm 26.
5 p.m.
Okay.
You said email?
For sure. I'll send an email out. I'll send it to Tony, and then she can spread it to all you guys.
She's gonna be sending out a lot of stuff.
So Denise, she's in charge of that.
My cray buddy.
We always have support. We have a lot of support for them coming back, but she never has a whole lot of support for them leaving the departure, and that's what she's trying to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and support.
I am too.
They fly out at like 4:30.
Oh, dark 30. Oh, yeah.
So we're gonna be there, but.
Oh, dark
please, yeah,
30.
you definitely can support. Friday is another unattended, veteran burial. Thank you guys for sharing it. Yeah. Yeah, one just popped up. I don't know, Shirley.
We got another one?
It was Friday.
Oh, I know about the one tomorrow. But
That's right.
we did last,
So it's tomorrow. Okay. So it's tomorrow.
yeah, I'm like, he changed it all?
I knew I saw an email this morning.
Yeah, we're doing one tomorrow. I'm like, I ain't know about Friday. But you never know.
mentioned the Veterans Homeless Stand Down. That'll be September 12th at that Reserve Center there. The city will be providing, Sun Metro will be there to make sure that all the veterans get their free bus passes. We're working on the city recognition / proclamation for them as well, for the organization, the Reserve Center, the key components. Our Veteran Affairs Advisory Committee, they're presenting their annual briefing to City Council this month. So there'll be some information to come out of that. And then just wanted to make sure that you guys are aware, because I know you guys are heavily involved. It's your initiative, that Veterans Capital of the USA. It is apparent outside of El Paso, letting you guys know we stood out in veteran and military family support. We're aligning local, state, federal resources. We're taking action, not just talking. A lot of people said, hey, we're planning on doing this, planning on doing that. I thought I hate to say it, I thought I was going to I thought there was going to be a wealth of knowledge I was going to learn at this. Pretty much we were doing every single thing that people were thinking of doing. So have some pride in yourself that we are tackling these things. I know in our little island here in El Paso, we think, oh man, we could be.
Where the water? You did not say
island.
Okay. I'm an island girl. Ain't no water here.
Impact would be possible without our united support. So I want to thank Tony from the county. Big
yeah.
There is a lot of cities, counties that are united like this. They're all in their same silos and wheelhouses, but we are the veterans capital. So that's why we're breaking that down. And so everyone, just want to thank you for your continued support. And then just wanted to ask you guys if there's any way, how can I, our department, or the city help with whatever initiative you guys have going on. You guys can join us at the back. It's on Thursday at 10 a.m. I think some of you guys should join. So thank you guys for that support as well. And then, the unattended burial. I'll make sure I get that.
I have one request. Is when the back briefs to City Council, will you send an invite so that we can go and show our support if we're available? I think it's important that we have a unified front. Absolutely.
It's going to be the 28th, but I'll send it to you.
Okay. Well, Tuesday, the 29th.
No, it's a Monday.
It's a Monday?
Yes.
Oh, we may not be able to. And I'll tell you why. Go ahead.
All right, let's go to item F. Receive an update from the Paso County Veteran Assistance Office regarding veteran.
Okay. Good afternoon, Antoinette Hunt, Veteran County Service Officer. So tomorrow we will be laying to rest Private Sergio David Lujan, unaccompanied veteran. So if you're available and you can make it, then please attend. We have been getting quite a large crowd. I was there half an hour early on Friday and there was already no parking at the cemetery. And it's a good thing. Like that shows that our community is coming together. The media has gotten involved. A lot of people are asking questions about it. And that's a good thing. So we'll have that tomorrow morning at 09:30. Then at 1300, the Army Pays event, which is the Pays MOU with General Brito that was supposed to happen last week and got canceled.
Bless you.
Will now happen here at the county courthouse at 1300. Because it was a short notice, I will be here. I'm not going to expect my office to cancel veteran appointments to do that. So if you guys can support, then by all means, I'd love to have you here.
Smart one.
Yes, tomorrow 1300.
And,
I believe it's the county commissioner's courtroom, but I'll verify the location and I'll send a message out. On Monday, the 28th, there will be a resolution commemorating the 50th anniversary of the end of the Vietnam War. I have already sent the resolution up to the county judge for his bless off, and we are inviting the Vietnam Veterans of America, both chapters here in El Paso. So if you can support that, that would be great. I will send you more information as it comes. And then just really quick on the homeless stand down. We normally do it at the National Guard Reserve Center, right? But this is the last year they're allowing us to use the Reserve Center for it.
I have gotten permission and blessed off to use the county coliseum for the 2026 homeless stand down. So tentatively, it will be that Wednesday, September 9th, 2026. So if you're still in the VAB, I would love to have you all there and support. It's a great event. We bring together a lot of resources and bring the homeless community in, give them haircuts, a couple of hot meals, access to resources. But I think we can always look to make things better. So that's one of the things that I kind of have been working on, is bringing it to the Coliseum, which is more centrally located to downtown in our homeless community. That being said, going back to the 50th anniversary, there is a 50th, I just saw the notification, the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam veteran, the end of the war, is at American Legion Post 58 on Saturday, May 3rd. And I think it's like 4 to 7 p.m. I will send you the flyer, but just, it's a big deal. I had to do, going into this resolution, I did a lot of research because I don't like to speak about conflicts that I don't understand. So I did a lot of research, and so it's a big deal. I'd love to have you all there. Any questions from you? That's all that I have.
You send the information on email?
I will, absolutely.
Awesome.
This
Thank
is
you.
also item G. Receive a presentation from Katie Way Plus, Ms. Christina Kian.
Go on,
Thanks for waiting.
please.
Hi, good afternoon again. So I'm Christina Quinones. 2 months ago, I just transitioned out of the Army. I was stationed here on Bliss. From the beginning of 2020, I deployed and came back, stabilized at Bliss, and have stayed here ever since. I know you guys mentioned like, oh, a lot of veterans get out and stay in El Paso. I am part of the percentage as well.
Welcome, yay.
Have a seat if you like. You don't have to- Same height, never mind.
You did not.
So just a little bit about Kingsbury Park. We are located right off of 54 by the Woodrow B. Trans Mountain exit. Is it next slide?
You can just see next slide. Okay.
And then just okay. So just a little bit of background behind Katie's Way Plus. So originally we are Katie's Way, and where the name Katie originates from is our CEO Jeff Mathis. His daughter took her own life because she was seeking behavioral health services, but she was unable to receive it in time. So because of that, the following events transpired, and he himself was also seeking the case also. And because of his tragedy and loss and his experiences, he created this company with, the majority of his life savings, and just put it in creating Katie's Way to honor her legacy and provide services to the community members who need these services. So if you take a look on the upper left-hand corner, that is our original logo, and our board members are composed of several retired military members as well. So then we realized, we need Katie's Way and what we do in the military community. So we expanded, and we are now Katie's Way Plus. So we are open to civilians and the military community. So everyone. And then at the end, we press 6. So our mission, vision, and goal. So of course, our mission is to provide behavioral health care to the military community, but also just the El Paso community as well. Our vision is to revolutionize mental health care. We're able to do that with a more non-traditional method that I will be talking about in later slides. And our goal is to, of course, foster resilience, promote healing, and just improve the quality of life for everyone. Peace.
It's there. You can see it.
Yeah, well, oh, there you go. Okay, so just some of our current locations. So if you look, all of our current locations are placed strategically close by to major military installations, just so that we are able to service, that community, but also the military installation, and then everyone else around it. And then right now we have those locations. We are hoping to open a second location in El Paso here soon, but our goal is to continue to expand and grow and have a total of 50 clinics by summer of 2027. And I like to pause and ask, like, whenever I'm briefing, has anyone heard of Katie's Way Plus before I came out, like 2 minutes ago?
I got the little booklet.
So just one.
No, he didn't.
No.
We went to,
We were at the back.
we're at the back.
Got it. Yes, but I like to ask that question because just like to see like, okay, like this is how many people know versus like who don't know, and just so we can all like, see it. So this is just an overview of our services. We do, when patients come in, we'll do the initial evaluation diagnosis. They're on the spot. We'll do medication management, telepsychiatry, neurostimulation therapies, which we'll get more into, and then psychotherapy as well. We do support telehealth, just depending on the patient's needs, and just, it's really based on the patient themselves. And then just really quick. And a huge thing we like to emphasize is that we do same-day walk-in appointments available. We will not turn anyone away. If you need the help, like we're going to be here to support you, just because, I just mentioned like the background behind, Katie's Way and why this company was started. So of course we're going to see everything. And then 2 clicks. So is anyone familiar with deep transcranial magnetic simulation?
Yes.
Yes. So I know you guys got like the more in-depth version, so I'm just gonna do a general overview of it. But Deep TMS is deep transcranial magnetic stimulation. We are FDA cleared. It's a non-invasive treatment. We offer relief for depression, anxiety, PTSD, OC, and also smoking cessation. So what it is if you look at the picture, that's exactly what it looks like. That's the helmet that we use, but inside that helmet, there's coils, and we're using magnetic fields to stimulate the areas of your brain that control your mood and your behavior. The helmet, like I said, it sends the magnetic pulses through it. It's completely pain-free. It's non-invasive. Everyone thinks it's shock therapy. It is not shock therapy at all. It's literally just a helmet. And during the session, you're seated in the chair. The helmet goes over you. There's like a little brain, like a little soft cap that you put on first, and then the helmet goes over. The treatment is typically 2 months, 5 days a week, because what we're trying to do is improve the neuroplasticity inside your brain. And so essentially what we're trying to do is rewire, but also heal your brain at the same time. So in order for it to be consistent, in order for it to be effective, it needs to be consistent. And like I said, it's completely non-invasive, so it doesn't require hospitalization or anesthesia or anything like that. There's nothing that you have to go under. You can just go back to your normal routine afterwards. Our patients come in, some of them are active duty, so they'll come in right after PT, and then they're done for the day. They just go back. They have a 0-900 work call. It's completely within their schedule. So this is just more of an inside look into what the helmet looks like. As you can see, if you look at the 3 different helmets, you can see that there's areas where they overlap because we cover such a large, area. So we're able to, not only are we able to get to the deeper areas of your brain, but we target like a larger area of your brain as well. We are, I believe, one of 2 clinics here in El Paso that offer deep TMS. There are TMS clinics, but it's just a different type of TMS. I just like to say it's like different types of technology and like the advancement in the technology as well. So something that's unique about this, if you look, because it's such a large area that it covers, in Europe, so it's called CE marked, but in Europe, they're using deep TMS to treat other things such as Alzheimer, bipolar depression, the list goes on and on. So, and in Europe, they're also using it on children. In the USA, like we're only FDA approved for depression, anxiety, PTSD, and OCD. So that's the only thing that we're able to market for. But some of our patients will come in and they might have headaches, or they smoke, they have focus issues, something else is going on. But once they undergo the treatment, they'll finish the treatment and they'll say like, okay, like I realized that my headaches went away or something else because of the treatment. So it's like this. So I went over this a little bit already. What I do want to highlight on this page is, so typically when our patients first come in, they do their referral and everything. We'll see them, they do their intake appointment. And that's when we're going to determine, okay, like what's going on? What is your treatment plan? And then you'll come in for your brain mapping, and we'll identify if you are a good candidate for TMS, then we'll do your brain mapping, and then we'll determine the magnet strength and the coil position just to make sure that we're targeting the right area of your brain because everyone's brain anatomy is different. And then during the TMS session, all you're gonna feel, whenever I brief like the military population, I say it's like having an ACH on and you're in the back of an LMTV and you're just sitting there, it feels like vibration and tapping. That's what I compare it to. Patients are provided with a mouth guard and earplugs because it can be loud, and some patients might have a reflex where they like clench their jaw, but we make sure everyone is safe. When patients come in, they'll use their phones, they'll watch TV, they'll relax, some will take a nap during that time because it's nothing, intensive or anything like that. And this is just a quick overview of the treatment course. Of course, it is dependent on like insurance plans as well, but pretty much Tri-West, because active duty and VA and everyone like in the military community, they most of the time have up to 60 visits. So that allows for that flexibility because some people go out of town, our soldiers, sometimes they go to the field, they deploy or whatever, they're able to come back and continue their treatment. We just have to get them in for a brain mapping just to make sure that nothing is shifted. If it has, like we're still targeting the right area. But if you can see it, up to 4 weeks, we'll do 5 treatments, and then you start to phase it out and where you have less treatments each week. But the only thing is, it says 5 treatments a week, but we understand that, hey, like sometimes you can't come in 5 days a week. So at a minimum, we do request 3 days a week. So just some benefits of Deep TMS. I know that there was another representative here talking about whole health, especially within the VA. We had a table at that event as well, but it is a more holistic approach. So like, especially for those who have tried medication, I know that some medications don't work. Sometimes you have to cycle through different medications, but when you do that, you're going through several side effects that are, associated with each medication, or you have to stack your medications. I've heard it all, but for us, there are no long-lasting side effects. The only side effect that you'll have if you undergo through TMS is possibly a headache if you're not used to that sensation of like what the helmet's doing on your head, or you'll have mild discomfort. It is effective, especially for those who have tried other types of treatment methods. So I say it's a non-traditional treatment method because typically when you're seeking behavioral health care, you're always recommended to try therapy or medication, which of course everyone is different. If it works for someone, it works for someone, and we do offer those options as well. But this has just been proven to help as well. And if you look at the right in the middle, you'll see some of our statistics. So the remission rate for medication alone is only 11%. So that's a very small number. But when you combine TMS with medication, it jumps up to 60%, and that's deep TMS. But when you compare the response rate for repetitive TMS versus out TMS, it's already a 20% difference in the percentage. And then just a response rate by itself, we do have a 72% response rate for deep TMS. I'm not going to spend too much time on this slide because I already went over it, so it's fine. And then just like eligibility wise, like I said, we are open to civilians and the military community. I am the military liaison, so I'm catered exclusively to the military community, but anyone that comes in, we will help them. If they're not, able to be seen, I'm going to find them a resource regardless, because I believe that if you're going to walk into a clinic and seeking behavioral health care, you need to be seen, you need to be helped. And I've made it, our goal. Well, it is our goal to be able to, because mental health care isn't just about what's going on inside your brain and the science behind it. It's about what other factors are impacting you as well. So like, are you going through something in your personal life? Is there some financial problem, some childcare, anything out there? I'm working to collaborate with a lot of these other organizations in El Paso and see like, how can we work together to help everyone that comes into the clinic, and just honestly talking to them, because like, we all know like talking might go a long way. And yeah, so these are the insurances that we accept, and then we're signing this. This is just QR codes if you want additional information. Just my contact, and then a link to our website as well. But if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I know we've been.
I can share the slides with you as well if you'd like.
Please, yes.
Just a quick question. You said you do need a referral, PCP or?
So actually right now, for active duty soldiers, they would need a referral, but right now there is that waiver because of the Tri-West, they're shifting over to Tri-West.
So if you're a retiree, does that fall under that? So your active duty retirees that fall under TRICARE West retiree?
No, so the only population that would need a referral as of this moment would be veterans, which I'm working with the VA to get.
Well, I guess that's my question, because if you're a retiree and you fall under a veteran, but also have TRICARE retiree,
Yes.
can we do it without a referral? Then I'm assuming yes, because we didn't get the waiver.
That's the question.
Yes, you would need a referral. You're able to just come in, we'll see you this.
Go for it.
I'm gonna do it.
We see, like, I personally spoke to a patient myself, and within like 2 days of like starting the TMS treatment, she was able to sleep better, and she was getting like 3, maybe 4 hours of sleep, and after 2 treatment sessions, she was like, oh, I slept like 10 hours. And I was like, wow. But she was in there for a completely different reason, and that's why we're saying.
One of those 4 hours. Yeah, it's not mine.
So
Are you
if
getting
it
support?
comes out, you know what happened.
Are you getting support from Fort Bliss or?
We are working with them, yes. So we
But-
do have a point of contact with them, but I'm the one that does like all the outreach events. I'll sit and table a lot of events. I'll go and talk to whoever I can, and especially right now because of that waiver, like I'm trying to get the active duty soldiers in because I know I was just in 2 months ago. Like I know how long it can take to get a referral off those.
But how do you deal with the active duty component? Because I know a lot of them, there's that stigma of seeking, like I deal with it all the time as far as the claims as active duty people who had something going on, but wouldn't ever seek help while they were on active duty. So it's not something that's reported back, right? It's something that's completely independent of like their health care and it's not reported back.
So actually when our patients come in, they do sign a release of information, and it is, so I guess it depends on like the soldier, but I know that most of the soldiers I've talked to, they prefer, because I know that there's other organizations out there where you can go and it doesn't get reported. But now like they want to like get it documented because after they transition out, you know, they want to.
That's a huge thing that we see.
I think there's a generational shift with mental health care. Yeah. Yeah, of course. When you and everyone were young, you ain't going to see the wizard. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was called. And you weren't doing it.
But that's
where the younger soldiers today are maybe a little smarter. I don't know. But
actually, before I got out, I was a platoon sergeant, and like I told my soldiers that, like, you know, I think it is a generational like or culture shift, but it's still a stigma today. I think it just depends like on the leadership and like who you're talking to. It varies a lot because there was a soldier that came to me and asked me for help, and then I turned around and I was like, hey, like here's how you get the help, but he wasn't my direct soldier, so I have to say like, hey, like I have to let like your leadership know just like bare minimum details, like, hey, by the way, this is going on, and they turn around and said, no, he's just trying to be non-deployed. So it varies.
I think I heard this in the last meeting. Just going through the procedure doesn't make you non-deployed.
Exactly. Because like, you know, when you start medication, it makes you non-deployed for 90 days. But if you undergo a TMS, it doesn't impact your deployability. So that not only does it help with, you know, soldier readiness or service member readiness, but also just unit readiness as well.
And see, that's the stigma where you have a commander or somebody that's over you that will not let you go or put that information there that's not even true. And then now you have a person that needs help that can't get help, that was willing to share that piece. And now you've just been knocked back down.
And that's why like being in the community and going to these events, like sometimes I find it helps them just like listening to them and saying like, hey, like what's going on? And then like some of our patients will come in, they'll see our nurse practitioner, and then she'll go ahead and let me know like, hey, like we have this patient, like I think if you reach out to them, like it could help a lot. So I'll just call them and I'll say like, hey, like what's going on? Like how can I help you? I was just in your shoes like 2 months ago, and just like, you know, being there to listen to them and support them, letting them know like you do have a support system. And like, I mean, I'm on post, I'm back and forth on post all the time. Like I'm one person, but I still want to be able to help in any way I can. And so I'm fairly new to like the outside world, learning how everything goes like out here, but still being included.
Now, is your staff more physicians or are they technicians?
Nurse practitioner is something I heard.
So we have
Do you have clinical
Yes,
support or is it more technical support?
we have,
Oh, okay.
MDs? MDs or
We have one
psychiatrists or one MD and then MPs?
Do you guys have like I know like you're the military spokesman, but I think what would really help alleviate some of the stigma if you had a person that say is a veteran or someone, I probably couldn't do it active duty, but someone to say, hey, I took part in this and I benefited from this, that you can kind of like drag around like how we drag around the boat and different things. So I think that would.
I'm
really
the
help.
poster
Yeah.
child.
Because I think I've spoken to people that have said they've used it and got success, but they're not speaking in the space of I was a soldier or I was a
Right,
Marine.
that
So-
part.
And that's why I asked, because I would be interested in running a comparison tool. The VA had an event a couple years ago, and a different battalion, I think that's the name. They ran a test, and it's a similar type of reprogramming. But they were waiting on grant funding because it wasn't something that the VA covered. That's why I asked, like, if I fall in a TRICARE retiree, could I do both? Because I would be willing to go through the process and then speak about it. We have so many veterans who are dealing with things you don't even speak about. And we need to get that voice out there. And so many people suffer in silence that if you would just, like, if I tell my story, then someone else may decide to take that brave step. And that's why I asked, like, if we can do it without a referral, then I would definitely go. And it's literally down the street from our office. So, yeah, I would.
I think I have the ability to schedule like on the spot as well. Like I could do a referral and get you scheduled, like all of that.
We'll talk tomorrow morning. We'll talk, but I think it'd be great. And I think that's where the word of mouth spreads really fast when I talk about things that work.
Because one of the questions you asked is, have you heard of us?
Right.
Your marketing. I've heard of you through the
VAT,
but I have not heard it through you other channels.
Outside.
Yeah.
Are you guys working that piece
We
or?
are.
It's expensive, but I know.
Trying. I'm also about to take on like the social media, like marketing side as well. So like I'm trying to get out there. When I was a part of the boss program as well, like on post. So just trying to take the expertise from there and like apply it here. We're just trying to continue like building and expanding.
Is Fort Bliss letting you in their formations or are they letting you in their formations or no? Not literally, but social media does, I mean, no.
No, like the post paper or
Are they
any
letting
type
you-
of info.
Yes, we do. Dodo and Scout Gym, we have our posters up. So we do, we have our posters there. I just revised the contract, but we're more focusing on sponsorships with Fort Bliss. So like the next event we're gonna do is our Spouses Night Out or their Spouses Night Out event that will be tabling there as well.
But William Beaumont, are they supporting you to a point where they're outsourcing or?
I would like to sit down and have a meeting with like the Williams. I know they just had like a change of command and they brought new leadership in. So trying to just set up a meeting and talk to them as well, just to continue the outreach, especially right now because of the labor. But what I've realized, especially like through the VA as well, is trying to reach like the right population. I can sit here and talk to veterans all day, but at the end of the conversation, I have to tell them like, by the way, like if you want our services, like you have to turn around and go ask your provider, which is backwards. And I'll tell them that I'm like, hey, like by the way, like this shouldn't be how it is, but like because of right now, like of how unknown like we are, or like not everyone is familiar with who we are and what we do. Like we have to tell them like, by the way, like go and request it from your provider. This is exactly like what you should request and what you need to say in order to come see us.
I like the modality that you don't have to have medication. Like you saying, it's more holistic and it's machine based, but the veteran or the soldier does not have to be on medication and medication that can alter your whatever, where you can't operate a vehicle or machinery or a weapon. So if you're doing it just as a machine, then you should be more functional. So that's a plus.
A lot of veterans are hesitant to ask for medication because they don't want to not be functional.
Right, that part.
That's what, I have a question, and I don't mean to elongate it, but what can this program do for MST survivors? I'm talking about PTSD from military sexual trauma. Is there something that you could do for them?
Yes, so it does tie hand in hand as well. So I like to say that it is a, like I said, non-traditional treatment method, but because, a lot of people who go through like these things, they want to revisit like what they went through, they don't want to talk about it, and it's valid, of course. So all you literally do is like you come in for your appointment, you sit through one intake like assessment, and then we determine like, okay, like how can we help you? How can we help you? And then that's it. Like you don't have to talk. And that was actually a good talking point as well, especially for the survivors for MST, PTSD, any other population. Like it's effective.
Thank you, Cindy.
Hey, great briefing.
Great briefing.
Thank you for waiting.
Good job.
I felt my grandmother's hairdryer for a minute.
Oh my
Like,
God.
that's what we
Yeah,
did.
we came with him.
No, but great brief.
Excellent.
Thank you. Best of luck.
No, it was well
Thank you
worth
for your
it.
service. You just got out, you said? Retired or?
No, I just separated. I did 5.5 years.
Well, good for you. Congratulations. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, and give it up for a bridge fellow.
Yes, sir.
Staying in El Paso.
Yes, sir. It is at the end. So at the beginning of the slideshow, it's our office phone number, and at the end, the QR code has my personal.
I will share.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank
For
you.
waiting. Take care. Great presentation.
If you need a poster, child, I'm available.
I mean, I can make it right now.
No, I know. Yeah.
All right, let's go to item number H, discuss and take appropriate action on future opportunities for the Veteran Advisory Board.
Who's that?
Chair,
H, hotel.
H.
discuss and take appropriate action for future opportunities.
Oh, I know, hey guys, first, thank you for, the homework, getting it completed. Now we're gonna turn it over. Just looking for your feedback on, again, we don't want to endorse this. We're talking about the, resource guide. We don't want to slip into that endorsement field where, hey, we recommend Tony's Pizza because he has a bumper sticker, it says veterans. But at the end of the day, is there too many on there, you think? Is there not enough? Because we're about to give the product to this young man here from, is it who we are? Is it who we?
So most of these resources were vetted by the VAB in previous years. That was the practice that they came, like someone like Katie's Way came to the VAB, they
Okay.
gave a briefing, and then the VAB at some point would say, hey, do we want to add them to our resource guide? They'd bless off on it, and then we would send it up to add it to that document. But that was a book. So what we're looking at now is links and
Right.
coming into the next,
2 clicks.
yeah, the next decade of electronics. So I think that this can be a living, breathing thing. And if we decide we want to add something, then we add it. And if we find out something's not working, then we have a conversation and remove it.
Sure.
Because I never want to send a veteran to a resource and then find out that resource is dysfunctional for the veteran, or they gave them flaming hoops to jump through in order to get to that resource. So.
No, agreed, because,
Well, I like the part that we did every single number and like I was telling, we did find people that were telephonically in El Paso, but physically lived elsewhere, and they could only do and who wants to just talk on the phone? If I need to see you, I need to see you.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were discredited or discounted. I put down only telephone communication, not living in El Paso. Business is not in El Paso, so that they would know. And I think that with that particular, how we looked at those in the area, that I think that to validate who is actually physically here and how they operate and what they bring to the table for the veterans. And we also included children, active duty, military, as well as veterans, and then family members, and if there was a cost associated with it. So it's pretty.
And I know some of those guys want to come back and brief us. I had 4 organizations that want to come back because over the years they have
Yeah, on that note, typically there's a meeting at 2:30 immediately following this meeting, and it hasn't happened in the last 2 months, but we're pushing 3 o'clock.
No.
So when we ask people to come, and even when we do our VA healthcare, like I don't want to cut them short,
we need to spread out.
but we need to do 10 minutes, and it can't be like a 30-minute dissertation. We need to be mindful of the clock. We haven't had an issue because the meeting that immediately follows has not happened. But I just want to kind of be thoughtful and keep it to like
the VAT tries to keep it under 90
They got it
minutes.
quick, yeah. Friends and family, they get to the routine quick. We had exception with, Cold Star, I mean.
We did, and
Well deserved. exception.
and they deserved, I think, 10 minutes of our time to hear what they had to say, but just food for thought that we need to keep.
Now, do we need to discuss that? Can
So
we reopen, because it was, from
wasn't-
the commissioners, it was asked for us to take a look at
Right.
and provide a
It wasn't
recommendation.
the agenda to discuss only because it was receiving presentations only because I
Can we
wasn't
wait till
sure
next month?
that they would depart the area, and it was not a conversation that I felt like we should immediately have.
And here, have them listening.
Well, the meeting's open, they can still log in and see. We will have a conversation with them again, and then should we be asked to give a recommendation, I was very clear with them that we do not make any decisions for funding for the county. Funding comes from separate sources. But I also want anytime anything's brought to Commissioner's Court and it said we need a VAB recommendation on this, I want to make sure that they understand that we're going to receive that we're going to receive that request, and we're going to bring them to the next meeting, so that nothing is sitting on our table undone.
You're gonna bring the Gold Star for up?
No, we'll bring an item back to discuss recommendation.
We want to wait 2 months to give the commissioners court an answer on something we have today.
Well, they haven't discussed it yet.
Okay, fair enough.
So it has not been brought
It's
back.
not on the agenda for, it was,
Receive a presentation only, and
yeah, the
it
way it's described, it's just receive a presentation. But in the future, if you do want to take action,
we can bring it back.
action
Yeah,
item.
and we can always bring it back or bring it back on a special session if we need to. But,
Is the commissioners court expecting a
No.
feedback from the VAB
no,
regarding this?
no, actually, and when I was building the agenda, it was recommended for me to delay this item. But I don't want anything to be in our field, like I don't want the ball to be in our field. So I think we bring it back, maybe even on a special session, have a discussion. But what I did it very purposely, receive the presentation only, so
Fair
there
enough.
wouldn't
No,
be
no, fair enough.
any.
I know if there, many expectations if the commissioners court is expecting feedback from the VAB.
No, and you were there that day when it was discussed, so to me, that was an implied task.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like, hey, VAB, go bring it, it was an implied task, but also like, that ball was in our court. I want to make sure that we're responsive to our community, when things are said, hey, we want a VAB recommendation on that. So I think that's how we can foster a good, healthy relationship with our veteran service organizations and people who need to communicate with us to Commissioner's Court. So we'll bring it back at some point, but I just wanted to receive the information so that you have all received that knowledge that was received at court that day. Do we have anything else under our future opportunities for veterans advisory?
Everything, guys, I know we got two, I'll smoke a cigarette. I'm gonna
Just really quickly, we didn't get the time, but Mr. Maynor and Mr. Walters both left.
We still have a quorum.
I think they're here.
But we
Yeah.
can announce whenever they leave the room. So they're no longer in the meeting. And then when they
Oh,
return, you would
yeah.
announce that they returned.
Yeah, because that was on the video last time too, if you call off.
Right, but
Yeah,
now they're
physically.
We haven't broke quorum though, right?
Oh, yeah, we got
still
four.
have quorum, but they're not
They still need to be announced that they left.
Taking off like they want to.
for the record.
Oh, you're correct.
This one.
Robert's
For
rules.
administration.
You want to announce that or?
Announce it.
I don't have the time to say the time right now that they left or.
5-7 minutes.
You can just say it out at this time.
Okay, so this time we have Mr. Richard Del Hierro and Mr. David Porter stepped out at 2:56 p.m.
Rich.
I'm sorry, Mr.
I left
Here they
it.
back.
They're back there, back.
I left at
You know, we just be
2:10.
taking off. Now we got
5
break
minutes.
quorum.
So you want to announce that they've returned.
Now we got none for back.
So we have Mr. Richard Miller and Mr. David Porter back as of 2:56 p.m. Go back, right? Go to item H, discuss and take appropriate action on future opportunities for the Veteran Advisory Board. What about it, Delaware?
Yeah,
We finished that.
With them being back, you guys have anything that for future?
Reggie?
Future opportunities?
Okay.
Okay.
No, no.
Do you need to revisit item I, which was long and short-term goals, or did you handle that with the communication team?
I think we did okay with that. Yeah. I think that was good.
Okay.
And just on the last one, before we break it, I know we spoke with agencies out there when we were doing resource guide, and there was organizations that did want to come brief us. We have those. How do we want to do that? I don't want to overburden you, but we want to make sure we have a central point of contact saying, hey, so we can spread it out. Hey, I don't want expectations that everyone's coming next month.
No, and you're talking about people who want to brief to the VAB? I think we limit to 2 briefers per meeting.
Fair enough. They have 10 minutes.
2 briefers and make sure the guy, like, Quinones from Katie's Way, I did ask her, and I did ask the Gold Star families to keep it under 10 minutes too. I knew that would kind of push the bar because we want to hear what they have to say. So, but yeah, just for future endeavors, if you have somebody, let's try to keep it till 2. And then let's maybe, if we're talking about our goals and priorities. So if our goals and priorities are gaps in service and we're specifically looking at like mental health gaps in services, maybe we bring 2 people in that provide that service. Like we can educate ourselves and also look for the gaps. Or if we have gaps in services and financial assistance, we talk to 2 people who have some type of grant funding for veterans assistance. Just food for thought. So maybe we try to.
Is it good to bring them both in the same time? Because they're competing.
Yeah, that's what I was.
There's some competing marketing going on. They're not coming here. They're coming here to garnish business. You know, to garner business. I mean, they're helping veterans. At the end of the day,
We can offset them, so it's not.
I'm just saying, if they're both mental health, do we bring them in the same day or do we offset those? Because
They
end up competing against themselves.
And maybe what we do is in sometime in May, we do a special session and we game plan the rest of the year as far as the goals and priorities. And we just do a game planning we met priority 1 so far with the resource guide. We'll talk to communications about how we add people to that resource guide, but then also we prioritize like what other areas do we want to look at as far as those gaps in services or whatever. So we game plan for the rest of the year. Something that is coming up very quickly, and it's in the back of my mind, I don't know if it's in the back of yours, is we're going to go into the Veteran of the Year season, the nomination season. So we'll need to look at that grading rubrics and the nomination form. I will send an email out with some information on that, food for thought for the next meeting. So we can discuss it at the next meeting.
Yeah, we need to get ahead of that.
Those presenters, did you want it, like all of it centralized, like the request to go to Mike? Because I'm just bringing that up because they all go to me, right? So there could be multiple people, because you guys have a whole VAB here.
Someone go to everybody, yeah. So I know that some people have talked to almost every one of you to come present to the VAB. Maybe they go to Mike and then
yes.
Mike and I will, because we normally talk 2 or 3 times a week, we'll kind of game plan how we do that to make sure that we're not double tapping and that we're not extending the meeting to 3 o'clock because that's
Everyone go with that?
Yeah.
We're all good?
Yep, solid.
Also, another thing just to throw out, Mike, before the end of May, we have to do an actual yearly report of all the actual meetings. So just so.
I'll bring it, yeah. So in May, we'll have to go through the annual report. I'll talk to you about that. So it's in my list because the VAB has to approve it and then Michelle will take it to Commissioner's Court with all the board reports. But it's already on my calendar as a short term. This is coming up. So it's already flying on my calendar as to not miss that date. So
and I'll be looking for your input, guys. We're very transparent. So I'll be looking for you guys to input and what goes up. Make sure we're talking to our commissioners. You know, I know we get distant from them sometimes, you know, only because of our schedules. And my commissioner, she gives it all to me and I just handle it and I give it back to her what's going on. And that way they're caught up. One thing I always push is we're one voice, you know. We're confused on the narrative. We need to get with each other and build that narrative. So if anyone asks us what's going on, we have the same, you know, for our veterans and about to see how good we are here in a couple minutes. We get in front of that camera.
I'm good.
So let's go to item J, receive monthly updates from the Veteran Advisory Board on any items of interest or issues from the representative for precinct veterans. Precinct 1?
No.
Precinct 2? Committee?
As I was going over I haven't had an opportunity to talk to Commissioner Strauss yet, but I'm meeting with his, what's the gentleman's position in his office?
Policy
Policy advisor after this meeting. But also when I was going through verifying the resource guide, I talked to a couple individuals that would like to come and give us some information about what they do and how they support the veterans. One of them was the Howard Payne University. And he said, Dr. Gill said he would be available in June if we wanted him to come give us a small brief. I'm also, and this came out from Veterans at Breakfast, the last Veterans at Breakfast, when Tender Care, Home and Health and Hospice did their briefing, and they wanted somebody to come and do the invocation for the Vietnam Veterans forum that they had. And it was an awesome time, because what it is every year, and I was explaining this to Mike, every year on March 29th, across the United States, they recognize all Vietnam veterans. This is one of the times, because the 29th was on Saturday, did it on Friday. So I went down there, I did the invocation, the invocation and the benediction. I had an opportunity to talk to the individual and as well as some of the veterans. And Tender Care is interested in coming to sit down and talk to us. And I got their representatives' numbers and stuff. I'm gonna reach back out to them and talk to them to see when they would like to come talk to us. Because one of the things they did talk to me about was getting individuals needing assistance and going to sit down and talk to some of the veterans, going to visit some of the veterans that's in their homes and can't get out. They're spending 5-10 minutes with them. And they just want to come in and talk to us about this a little bit more. And I know Park University, and I had to get back with her. She said she would like to come, because I had the education portion. That's if I can speak on that. I need to get back with her. She said her office would like to come talk to us also about some things, how they support and how to help veterans, and the things they have to offer veterans. Those are the things I have.
On that note, maybe we should look at a special meeting to
Yeah, that's what we
program
talked
this
about
out.
next month.
Let's go to precinct number 3, Mr. Del Hierro.
Nothing good this month. Thank you.
Precinct number 4, Ms. Wakefield.
I've spoken with Representative Trejo, Representative Coronado, in reference to doing a memorial of some sort for Carl Robinson, who worked both city and county. And giving him recognition for, he put in a lot of work in the city of El Paso, period. Being retired military, just excellent in the community. I always hear his voicemail. You can't reach me, I'm out in the community, making the community better, was his favorite thing of saying. And so just trying to get a feel for, and pretty much they've said it should be a county and city thing since he worked for both. And so just trying to see where they are with what they have to present instead of them trying to dump it back on me and make me the adversary of coming up with something. I mean, if I came up with something, it'd probably be like a monument or a statue to him, but I want their input and then fine tune it. So
A proclamation.
but I want something in the Northeast.
Oh, physical thing.
Physical thing. I want a physical, viewable something because he was that visible. And that's just my journey right now.
Any judge appointment, Mr. Porro?
Nothing, sir. I haven't had a chance to meet with him.
With that, can we adjourn?
So make a motion.
His second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Woohoo!
Now do we